This is my sports coaching assignment 1 assignment, Components to a Coach, by Lucas Hawkins. The first role I'm going to talk about is example of a coach being a friend. Being a friend in a coaching environment is important, as it means someone you could go to your coach who you trust, and that you have confidence in them to trust, not break the trust. But it's important that as a friend and coach, it does not break the boundaries. You stay professional in the working environment. An example of this could be Sir Alex Ferguson, who his role of a friend and coach, and could be an example when he wrote a letter to Eric Cantona when he retired in 1997. He wrote the letter about being his friend, thanking him for everything he had done for the club. This is an example of a friend because it shows how highly he thought of him. And the letter ends by saying he would like to be able to have a drink with him, which Ferguson would not have done if he didn't think if there was no friendship between them. Before he retired, however, this would have benefited him on the pitch because he would know Sir Alex would have backed him and shared his confidence in him, allowing him to play to the best of his ability. Another reason why this would have been important is because Cantona was performing on the biggest stage, and if he didn't have confidence shared in him by his manager, he may have had a drop of form, meaning the team did not perform as well. Next one's going to be an example of an educator, trainer and instructor. For this one I've used my non-elite coach Dan Bingham. An educator is someone who teaches a skill to another person. It is one of the most important skills as it enables someone who is learning to develop and gain not just a knowledge of the sport, but it also improve their ability, because if they have an understanding of what to do because they've been educated, then they will be able to apply that to a game situation. And an example of this is Dan Bingham, because he coaches young age groups in cricket. An example of this could be an under-11 TV coaches. Before every game, he makes sure they understand that the most important component they can get out of the game is to gain experience and learn about the game to stand them in good stead for the future. This is important because as they get older, the games will become more competitive. If they cannot have a wide range of knowledge, it will put them to a disadvantage to their opponents. Therefore, allowing young players to learn the rules allows them to develop quicker, as they know what they will have to do in order to win games. An example of being a manager is another one of my non-elite coaches, Tim Hembry. A manager is someone who has the final say on the goings on at the club, with their main priority being the tactics and the squad selection. An example of this is my non-elite coach Tim Hembry, because he takes control of the tactics and chooses a team for every game. He is also responsible for making changes during the game. This could be substitutions or changing the formation. This is important because if Tim Hembry doesn't do this, doesn't do the tactics, it increases the likelihood of the team losing, as no one is aware of their roles, meaning the team will be disorganised. However, as Tim Hembry is a non-elite coach, it is likely that he will have less responsibilities to an elite coach. This is because he will not have to deal with contracts or the financial side of the game. This is because there are no fees for players, and the players aren't there to be paid. It is simply for enjoyment. Another reason why manager is important is because they're usually the reason why the team play good or bad. This is because it is important that the tactics suit your players, allowing you to get the best out of your team. My next example is Trevor Bayliss, who is an elite coach. He's the England cricket team coach. I've used an example. The role I'm using for this one is a role model. A role model is a person who can look up to like a person who can be looked up to, and for like a younger participant or anyone in fact, to copy or shadow their behaviour in order to improve their performance by looking like for inspirational knowledge. An example of a role model is Trevor Bayliss. This is because he, when coaching, he has like a calm, collective behaviour which players will seek confidence and aim to be like. This is because when they see him behaving like this, and Bayliss has been an extremely successful coach, so they will then trust him because they've seen his methods work before. As an elite coach, it is likely that Bayliss will be a role model for a wider range of people, because he faces the media. This is compared to like a non-elite coach who there will still be non-elite role models, but it won't be for the wider audience because they won't be seen in the same sort of light as an elite coach. Another reason that Bayliss would be a role model is because the players see that he doesn't get involved in media feuds with other coaches who have tried to start war words with him, or to make their players respond in the same way. This will positively benefit performance of the players. They will not get distracted from their knowledge or have high levels of concentration on the task ahead, and rather than the people around them who could possibly distract them. Now I'm going to move on to responsibilities. First responsibility I am going to be looking at is equal opportunity. And for this one, I've used my non-elite coach Dan Bingham as an example. An equal opportunity is where there is no prejudice against age, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, or sexuality, or socio-economic status and ability. It is important in sport that there is equal opportunities for all, because if a person feels they aren't wanted because of one of these factors, it will severely affect their progress in sport and could cause them a lot of stress. It's a common factor that coaches discriminate against socio-economic status. Some sports are looked upon as upper class, and you will not fit in if you have a lower socio-economic status, but you'll find it difficult to settle in and start playing. An example of this is tennis. It's very common that only people with the highest socio-economic status play it, and you do not see many tennis players who start off with nothing and work their way up. I've used Dan Bingham as an example of this because as he coaches youth cricket, it is important that everyone has an equal opportunity. This is why when he runs his youth cricket sessions, there is people from all different ages and backgrounds, and boys and girls mix. I mean, everyone has an equal opportunity to succeed in cricket and enjoy it as much as they can. This is good because it means that more people will be able to enjoy cricket and have a very good chance of developing into a cricketer. It will also benefit the participants socially, as it gives them a very good chance of developing into a cricketer. It can also benefit the participants socially, as it gives them a chance to make new friends, which will relieve them of stress and will make them generally happier. Professional conduct is the next responsibility I've looked at, and I've used Alex Ferguson as an example for this. Professional conduct is important for a coach because it determines their behaviour of the participants you are coaching, especially if they are younger. They will look up to their coach and will copy his behaviour, and if the coach does things that are unacceptable, then the participants will copy. So professional conduct is how a manager acts. If he was unprofessional, he would do he'd do things that aren't really acceptable at his level. Like this may be things like going out or just doing things that are saw as antisocial. So an example of this could be Sir Alex Ferguson. It's very important that he does keep his professional conduct. This is because he would have always Sir Alex Ferguson would have always remained professional throughout his career, and this is because he's in the public eye, and if he does something unprofessional, he may lose the respect of his players, meaning they do not perform as well for him, meaning he's starting to lose control and authority over the players. Due to Sir Alex Ferguson being an elite coach, it will affect him more because if he does not remain professional, does not maintain his professional conduct, he could lose his job, meaning less income, obviously, and also as football is such a major sport, it will be seen all the way around the world, and he could lose his reputation as a legend if he did lose some of his professional conduct. The next responsibility I'm looking at is health and safety, and I've used my non-elite coach Tim Henry for this one. Health and safety is one of the most important responsibilities as a coach. When in a professional coaching environment, they all have a duty of care to look after the participants and make sure they are safe and aren't doing things which could be classed as unsafe. There are two types of risk factors. These are extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic is something outside the body which could cause injury. This could be a hole in a football pitch, which could lead to a player twisting their ankle. A way to stop this would be carrying out a risk assessment before putting on the session. This would stop it happening because the hole in the pitch would have been spotted, allowing time for appropriate action to be taken away to combat the potential problem. An intrinsic risk factor is something that is on or inside the body, which could result in an injury. An example of this could be an overuse of a muscle group resulting in injury. This could be if a footballer has done a lot of shooting training, and if they keep on doing it, then it won't work a range of muscles on the leg, and it could cause a muscle imbalance. The next role I'm going to look at is knowledge of the coaching environment. I've used Trevor Bayliss for this one. Having a wide range of knowledge of your coaching environment is important because it can benefit participants and give them the best chance of succeeding in their chosen sport. As the coaches know how to use the equipment in order to make them better, another reason why it is important to have a wide range of knowledge of your coaching equipment is that it can keep your participants safe. This is because you will know where the first aid kit is, like where the fire exit is, etc. This means that one of the most important responsibilities. This means it is one of the most important responsibilities, as it can not only improve the participants in their sport but also keep them safe. I've chosen my elite cricket coach Trevor Bayliss as an example of this one because he needs to have a wide range of knowledge of the coaching environment. This is as cricket could potentially be very dangerous if you took a blow to the head. Trevor Bayliss has had many years of experience working in this environment. As a cricket right. It is important that Trevor Bayliss has had many years of experience because he will know ways in order to keep them safe. Obviously, because cricket could be potentially life-threatening. Therefore, when training, Bayliss will need to make sure that everyone is using the equipment safely. This could be in the training nets and making sure everyone is facing the ball so no one gets hit. As if someone turned their back and the ball was struck at them, and if it did hit them in the head, it could potentially be fatal. This could also be the use of the bowling machine, making sure that the speed and length is right to make sure it is aiming for the head. Bayliss will also know when in training where the players have to go if there is a fire, and to have a medical team on standby in case there is any injuries. This overall means that Bayliss carries out his work very professionally and very safely due to his knowledge of the coaching environment, because he does know how to use the nets properly, as he's used them for so long, and he doesn't know how to use the bowling machine and things like that. I'm now going to compare my coaches. The first two coaches I'm going to compare is Trevor Bayliss and Sir Alex Ferguson. Trevor Bayliss and Sir Alex Ferguson are both very successful coaches, and because of this, they share similar roles. For example, they are both role models to their different audiences. This is because they're both at the top of their game, meaning they are the best in the world for their selective sport, which results in people who want to go into the coaching industry looking up to these. However, even though they are both elite coaches, they have very different responsibilities which differ in importance. For example, health and safety in football is very different from cricket. This is because the danger of the sport is less severe, therefore meaning that there will be less health and safety checks for Sir Alex Ferguson, because the chances of becoming seriously injured is reduced. Whereas in cricket, Trevor Bayliss will have to be a lot more strict. He will not be able to allow a player to go out without a helmet that is wrongly fitted or not safe enough, as it could potentially cause serious injury, which could be fatal. This is one of the main reasons why health and safety in cricket is much stricter than football. However, even though they are both elite coaches, they have different responsibilities as well. A role. As they are both very successful coaches, they share similar roles. For example, they are both role models to their different audiences. This is because they are both at the top of their game. meaning that they are the best in the world for selective sport.